Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us on the Stay at Home Order Presents High Fantasy. Derek, are you high fantasy?
Oh, I'm so high fantasy.
So I will be our dungeon master for this evening as we attempt to pull something together, some semblance of coherent thoughts for at least a couple
Oh, I'm
hours.
so excited.
Um, so why don't you guys take a second to introduce yourselves, or rather, your characters?
Ooh, okay. I'll go first. I am a tiefling paladin. Well, I shouldn't say I am. My guy is a tiefling paladin. His name is Astaroth. And some of you D&D nerds may think that's a little strange that a tiefling is a paladin, but he was a tiefling that had a rough life growing up. His village he was in, his village was raided. They took all the children, put them into slavery, but he found a very nice family of paladins that took him in and kind of raised him as their
They
own.
were they were all paladins.
Yes. Why are you
The
laughing?
whole family of paladins.
No, it wasn't. There wasn't like there wasn't like mom paladin, dad. You know what? I think I got a little too
Mama
high
paladin
before we're
and
doing this,
dad a
but it was not a
paladin,
whole.
baby paladin.
And there was a baby paladin. Fuck you guys. God damn it. No, it was a house of paladins, but it wasn't just a house. Like it was, you know what I mean, motherfucker.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. But anyways, so my guy is on the quest to prove himself to his family, to his house, and go on these adventures. So super excited to do so.
Blade, you want to talk about your boy?
Oh yeah, all right, sure. Well, I have brought to the table a gentleman by the name of Ballraq, Crazy Horse, my Sharona. He's a
Wait,
a
what?
Goliath.
Can you
Yeah.
say his full
Well,
name again for the record,
Perfect
please?
name.
Yeah, his full name is Ballraq, Crazy Horse, my Sharona.
Great. Okay.
So it's really important to understand that there's there's like an acceptable format for Goliath names, and so there's three parts to their name, right? There's the birth name that's given to them at their birth by their parents, right? And then there's a nickname that's bestowed upon them generally by like members of the clan, maybe at like their coming of age or something, and then there's their clan name, right? And what's important about the clan name is it's like a minimum of 5 syllables in length, and it has to end in a vowel, right? So that's his full name, right? We can just call him Ballraq.
No, I love his full name. I think you should actually refer to him by full name when you say his
just
name.
all the time. It's actually almost too much of a mouthful, and so
I've heard that mouth go. I think you got it in you.
Well, I appreciate
the kind words,
confidence, and kind words. Absolutely, yeah. So Ballraq is, as a Goliath, he's a big dude, bigger than most. Tipping the scales at 300 plus, over 7 foot. Over 7 foot tall, and so he's a big guy, right? And by Goliath standards, an accomplished combatant. And a proud member of his clan, but ever the intelligent one, at least by Goliath standards, right? Because they're not renowned for their smarts. He is a forward thinker and has decided that despite clan tradition, right, of kind of like staying close to home and filling your role and carrying your weight at the homestead, he's decided to, in the interest of bettering his clan and his progeny and ensuring the ongoing of his race, has decided to venture out and learn about other races and their ways of life and interest of forming alliances and what have you. And so in his journey, he is had it that put it into his brain that he would become a ranger, having already mastered all of the forms of combat that a Goliath would need to know. He has decided to shift gears and is now a ranger, which makes for some interesting concepts considering his size. But just the same,
this guy sounds like he parties. He's venturing out.
Right. Yeah. He's really just not.
Yeah.
He's not into anybody trying to fuck with his vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
he's just looking for other like-minded adventurers for casual.
It's really a coming of age story,
parties.
is what I'm gathering. Getting out for the first time.
So yeah, he likes to get laid, and he already knows how to smash and fuck. And what else do you need to do? Let's learn how to be a ranger.
I bet you him and Astaroth would smoke a lot of weed together. I'm fairly certain that my paladin smokes weed because it's natural, and I don't think it goes against his god's will. So yeah, I bet you my guy tokes up.
Yeah, did you not like make that part of his like possessions and stuff?
No, should have.
That's my personal possessions brought to the table are a small glass smoking pipe of considerable thickness, obviously created by a master craftsman.
Ooh.
And a substantial bag of smoking flour of the highest quality.
Yeah,
that
okay.
sack of weed.
And follow that up with an enchanted flint and steel that throws spark under any condition.
Yeah, dude, Astaroth is definitely hanging out with you. 100%.
So I do have those things just in case. He was born and raised in the mountains and spends the majority of his life at above 20,000 feet.
He's already high.
You got to have that magic flint and steel to make sure that you're getting a spark when you need it the most.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Gotta get that spark.
Fair story. I like your guy. I just met him and I already like him, goddammit. Good storytelling, Blade.
He's excited.
I'm just gonna put my wizard hat on.
Oh my god, he's actually got a fucking wizard hat.
There we go.
Oh, hell yeah. Dude, I'm getting excited now. It just became real when he put the fucking hat on. We're doing this.
Yep. Listen in, motherfucker. So, you guys are buddy-buddy.
Yeah.
Hanging out. And Astaroth, you've kind of learned that there's some trouble going on in a nearby town. The church in the area seems to think that there's some evil taking over a nearby forest. Funnily enough, where you
I'll go with it. I know what you're funny enough, yeah.
Yeah,
Weed's the devil.
Wait for the hat to fall off.
Devil's lettuce.
The Golden Beaver Wood is a beautiful forest where leaves shimmer with an iridescence and birds sing the most cheerful tune. As time marches on and the forest stays as if it were the most glorious spring, this year something has changed. As winter approaches, the leaves have grown dark and have begun to fall. Brackish waters pool and newly formed swamps and take over where the cheerful wildlife once was. People of the nearby village fear that some evil has slain the last unicorn and has corrupted the forest. The church fears that an unnatural evil is encroaching on them and taking over the forest for themselves, and that no natural creature outright kills a unicorn. An increasing number of wolf sightings have people on edge. Livestock and people alike have been taken and left only a grisly pile of evidence. The church has sent you out, Astaroth, on behalf of them. You are going to vanquish or banish all evil, and you've decided to bring your smoking buddy, Ballraq, along for the ride, and he's a perfect companion to try to track down these would-be creatures that might be causing all this havoc. So you've made your way out to these enchanted woods, and it's been a long hike, but you find yourself surrounded with all these dead and starting to decay trees. In the not-so-distance between the trees, you can see that there's this large cottage As the sun slowly sets behind the building, you can hear these low groans coming from behind you on all sides. You can see the door of this cabin fly open. There's a very svelte man. He just looks out at you with this kind of surprise and shock, and he starts waving for you to start coming towards the building. What do you guys want to do?
So wait, we've just come into these woods that are now have become like once beautiful and are now decrepit, right? And we see this cabin, and the sun is coming down, and with the setting of the sun, we can hear around and behind us, it's like
some ghoulish moans and groans, some spooky nighttime sounds.
And the door of this cabin that we see in the not so far off distance flies open, and out steps this handsome gentleman.
Yeah, he's very like Bowie-esque. You can see that he's regularly tall man, skinny, wearing kind of drapey clothes, like he's got a cloak. And he's waving for you to come towards him.
Does he have any markings or anything like on his clothing that would indicate any affiliations?
Go ahead and grab a d20.
Got it.
Your biggest die with the 20 sides. Okay, and then you're going to roll that for investigation.
I rolled an 8.
Total is an 8. You kind of scan his clothes, and they don't seem to have any markings on them. He looks to be of a student or somebody who would be at a college.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know about Astaroth, but I myself, considering the look of this gentleman, do not immediately feel him to be a threat to my well-being, but I'm not overly excited about the groans and moans from the unknowns behind me and around me, so I'm gonna go to that guy's direction, head towards the door.
Ballraq, are you just starting like a sprint going towards the door? Astaroth, are you just kind of standing in place for right now?
So Astaroth is looking around at the surroundings, and he's basically scanning the area to make sure that there's no danger surrounding this house.
Go ahead and roll. Yeah, go ahead and roll a d20, okay. And then you're going to add your perception. It should be under wisdom. Oh man, it's been a minute.
So if it's wisdom, I have a +1 modifier, +14 roll, so 15.
Okay, you can see that currently there are a couple of shapes coming from the sides of you. They're humanoid and they're ambling very slowly. But you can hear multiple other sounds coming from the distance as well as other directions.
To protect my friend as he approaches the young person cloaked, I make my way towards the shadows, unsheathing my weapon just to let them know that I am armed and showing signs of aggression if they were to provoke.
Okay, so you have like a defense stance. Are you gonna say anything? Are you gonna shout at these creatures, or are you just kind of doing this silently?
No, I'm more defensive. I'm waiting for their move.
Okay.
As I watch them, just scanning, I'm basically defending Ballraq as he goes and investigates the man at the cabin.
Okay. Ballraq, by the time this is all happening, you're upon the door, and the man's like, I would get inside if I were you. Get your friend would be great. An idea that I think if he wants to live, he's kind of coming at this very nervously.
Okay, so I'm with the student-looking guy at the front of the house, and he's like anxious for me to get Astaroth and get into the house as quickly as possible, right?
Yeah, you guys really should get in the house. It was probably the safest idea for anybody.
And he's just obviously like really concerned about our well-being because of the crowd that's accumulating outside.
Yeah, he seems to know a little something of what's going on.
I think that Jesus. Astaroth is basically
perfect. Oh shit!
He's basically like what just only steps away from where we were at the start, standing in the woods by himself like an idiot with his weapon drawn.
Yeah, you look back and he's like in a defensive stance, and you can see now that there are these decaying humanoid bodies crawling and slowly walking out of the woods towards Astaroth.
So they look almost like undead ghouls of sorts then.
Some have their jaws clean ripped off and dangling by the few sinewy bits connecting. They have others that are just like completely disemboweled with their guts just tripping them, and they keep falling and stumbling as they walk towards you, hungry.
Badass.
Well, I think that in the interest of keeping the party together, I sprint to Astaroth's location and grab him and drag him back to the house.
All right.
Can I do both of those in one move?
You can grab him, but you're going to have to... Well, I'll tell you what. Go ahead and both of you guys roll me a d20 to see how fast you can get out of that situation.
So I rolled a 19.
I rolled a 14.
No, you got this. Both of you guys were rolled well enough that Ballraq, you just scooped your arm underneath Astaroth's as he's holding that sword, and you just kind of pull on him, and he's like, "It's my best friend. I know exactly what he's telling me," almost like we can read each other's minds. And you run back into the cabin, and the svelte man, he has a fire poker that he sticks in between the door, and he tries to like throttle it in there, and he's just like, "You guys okay?"
Well, so we're in the house now. I have to quickly, even though there was that quick telepathic nod, like bro nod, when I scooped you up like that. Not trying to step on anybody's dick, and I appreciate you going to blade for me that quick. But like I said, I quickly assessed him as a low threat and made a snap judgment to get our asses into this house for fear of, what I may have actually suspected from the start, because unbeknownst to you gentlemen, Ballraq has experience in battling undead humanoids, and so wanted to get to a safe space and assess the situation and make a game plan.
You enter through the foyer, and you can see on the floor there's streaks of blood leading into the next room, as if something had been dragged at some point recently. Inside, there's a nice sitting area, and you actually see quite a few things. To your left and right of the entrance are two suits of armor. Beyond that, in the center of the room, you can see that there is a candelabra. There's lights still burning. The candles are quite short. Also in the room is a somewhat large, kind of cuckoo clock, a wooden carved clock that's a pretty focal piece of the room. From there, you can see a short set of stairs, and then also a couple of other doorways leading south, west, and east. You see that there's also several people gathered around here. This felt elf is coming up behind you, and he mutters again about whether or not somebody's been bit. And you can see that there's a girl sitting on the floor, and she's wearing what looks like a night dress or nightgown, and it's just spattered with a spray of blood right up the center. It seems as though there was a wave that just struck at some point. She's got this blank look on her face, and she seems to be in shock. You see also another family of humans, a mom, dad, and child, laid out on the floor in the other corner of the room. There's another tall, very pale gray and green skinned half-orc poking around, looking in other rooms. You can see moving about very nervously. And once again, the one elven man pops into the room, and he's just like, this is everybody we've seen out here. We've got everybody that we could from where did you guys come from?
I'm gonna go ahead and politely ask him with a hearty shove not to look at me or touch me too closely.
I still have my guard up, I'm so high.
The dad comes in and just cuts everybody off. He's like, there's no fucking way I'm doing this. He raises his crossbow and he aims it right at Astaroth. There's no fucking way that devil's coming in here.
How close am I to this guy?
It's a quick jump if you wanted to move 20 feet.
I'd like to immediately jump to this guy's location and disarm him without hurting him too bad.
Go ahead and make a dexterity check. So you're going to roll your d20, and then you're going to add your dexterity modifier to that.
Rolled 18 plus 1.
Okay. Oh!
Oh fuck, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. You didn't disarm him then.
Oh no.
Derek, I'm going to have you make a dexterity check as well, because I just rolled a natural 20.
Okay. Unfortunately, my dexterity is -1, but I rolled an 18.
So, Ballraq, you jump up and grab this crossbow from this man, but as soon as you grab it, he pulls the trigger, and the bolt goes off straight towards Astaroth. You definitely duck your head down, and the bolt goes into the side of the heart, straight into just a plank of wood.
I knew he was quick, and so I went for it anyways.
It's like, you this giant guy too, get the fuck out of my face. Trying to get my kid and my wife safe in here, man.
Is he from Jersey?
I'm from the shore.
Sounds like it.
Perfect.
I think that we might stare him down and intimidate him a bit, and let him know that now that the two of us are here, we'll be calling the shots until we figure out what the hell is going on.
All right. Are you going to do a group intimidation check then to see if you can get him kind of scared into submission?
What do you think we should do? Or should we come at him with diplomacy, Astaroth?
Hey man, Astaroth is here to fuck. I can tell you one thing. Astaroth doesn't stand down to bad people.
Well,
So he's coming at us with aggression, man. We need to seize the situation. We need to take order.
you know, that's true. I was just Ballraq is his inner barbarian, the Goliath side of him says yes, we should definitely just stare this motherfucker down. But the side of him that's pursuing mastery of the ranger class is kind of like, maybe we should use a touch of finesse.
Okay. So Astaroth regains his composure after dodging the bolt that nearly hit his head as he ducked out of the way. He looks over, he does a quick glance around the room, sees the family lying there, realizes they're not much of a threat at this point, as well as the dying girl on the ground, apparently in shock. He then weighs his options as the only threat in the room is this guy who is trying to keep him from coming in the room without any aggression. He pulls out, he quickly moves towards the man with the crossbow, pulling out his sword and performing a smite swing on the crossbow to damage it beyond use.
So you're just gonna swing at this guy to like cut the crossbow in half?
Yeah, because I want to disarm him. No, I thought you weren't able to get it.
Isn't it in my hands?
Yeah, he like moved it so
Oh.
like it was. Yeah,
I don't know if I swiped it from him or if I just pushed it out of the way.
Yeah, let's just say he shot it off and then you grabbed it and you're like, not cool, dude. You snack it up.
Okay, so since the situation.
So yeah, I've got the crossbow in my hands, all right?
No.
So Derek just ran over there and smashed it out of my hands?
I smite the man.
No. I'm not going to smite him. Now that he's disarmed, Astaroth will not be doing any smiting.
Okay, cool.
I scan the situation. Okay, now that I know that Ballraq has handled... So when that throw happened and he lost it, I had immediately assumed that he didn't retrieve the crossbow when it went off. I didn't realize that you actually grabbed it and obtained it, so my bad on that. I see the dying girl in shock, and Astaroth has seen a lot of wounds in his time, being on battlefields and fallen, knights, and paladins are known to have their natural ability of healing. So Astaroth makes a quick decision to save the young woman's life. He runs over to her and tries to perform a cure wounds, or is that what it's called?
As you run up
What's the thing
and you have your sword to your side and you get on your knees and you're rubbing your hands together and be like, don't worry, this isn't going to hurt that much. And it's really awkward because you don't know how to talk to women. You realize that she's actually not injured. She has no wounds on her body, yet she is covered in blood.
When Astaroth realizes that there are no visible wounds on her, he lightly grabs onto his sword and slides back as he was prone trying to help her. He slides back as the blood slides from under him.
Like on his belly?
Nope, he's on his knees.
Slithering like
he
a
was
snake.
examining her like a snake, like a slippery snake. He was on his knees, and the blood is pooled around this girl, so as he slides back, he actually slides with the blood, hitting the mail of his armor, and he scans at her, and while holding his sword, demands an explanation of where the blood came from.
She's just like, so much blood. There was so much blood. So much. There was so much blood.
Fuck with that bitch.
She's in shock. She's completely in shock.
And she's just repeating herself.
So-
And just kind of like staring down at her feet.
With her absolutely being out of it, she's not actually coherent. She's more just speaking gibberish. Astaroth, with his hand on his weapon, fires some darts over to the man that Ballraq has subdued and questions him, as he seems to be the only rational one in the room, as the family in the corner is just very fearful and more defending themselves at this point. He questions the man of what is going on in the room.
There was also there's the half elf that had ushered you in to begin with, and then also a very nervous and pacing half orc man who was just kind of darting around, looking in other rooms, branching off from the main room that you guys came in.
So I think what I'd like to do here is chasing that ranger dream. I'm gonna try to gather everybody around who seems like they could say something, including this gentleman who I swiped the crossbow from, and I assume I'm standing right next to, and he's still probably pretty upset.
Yeah, he sat down right now and he's like, guys, got my fucking crossbow.
All right.
Dang.
But I'm gonna try to get like all of the adults in the room to like circle up here, and I'll draw out my smoking pipe and bag of flour and fill it and throw a spark to it and pass it around this group of survivors that have gathered around us, and try to get a handle on what's really going on. What's the situation here, and yeah, what they can.
It's a friend circle, just jerking each other
Just trying to figure out
off.
and assess the occupants and make sure that none of them appear to have been bitten.
Doesn't weed bring everybody together?
Can I see it? Can I see if any of the people around us?
So two things then. I'm gonna have you roll a charisma check to see like how you're vibing with these people.
All right.
See if everything's gonna be honky dory. And then second roll, I'm gonna have you roll for investigation, because you're just kind of peeping these eyes over their bods and just getting a feel to see if anybody's got an infection or some more wound.
All right. All right. Well, I rolled a 19.
Ba-ba-booey.
My modifier is 0 on charisma, though, so I'm coming in with 19.
Okay, so you've got everybody just kind of like, yeah, this guy's got it all put together. I think we can these guys are probably going to be our saviors. I think we're going to make it out alive.
Okay. And then what modifier do I roll for on investigation?
Your intelligence, I believe.
I rolled a 7 plus 3.
Oh boy, you can see that there's a lot of blood. There's a lot of blood in the building. There's a lot of blood on a lot of people's clothes, cuffs on their pants, their shirts. People have it on their face and their hair. The girl on the floor is just covered in blood. You can't tell if anybody's actually injured. Nobody seems to be really torn up as far as clothing goes. So you can't tell without kind of getting in there and, looking underneath some clothes or asking directly.
At least we've got everybody together, right? Astaroth, I think maybe, do you want to see if you can get, like... I don't know, what do you think?
So Astaroth looks around and begins to inspect the room and realizes that Ballraq kind of has most of the sane people in the room pulled in and is putting them at ease. He begins to listen, and once again he tries to detect any evil around him, as there are different rooms connected to the room they're in, just to make sure that there's no direct threat, as he still feels very uncomfortable around his surroundings, and him and Ballraq are outnumbered, even though the people appear to be a non-threat. He just wants to kind of sense the surrounding rooms connected to the room he's in to see what lurks behind him.
As they're all smoking down on this hot bag of ganj, you peek and see the other rooms of this house. To the southwest, you find a dining hall. Not quite as large as you would imagine for a hall, but big enough to fit like a good family-style buffet, mashed potatoes, stuffing, turkey, and you can go around at least a couple of times. They got bench seating. It's really classy. And then the other room to the north of that seems to be for the kitchen. And you go back up to the north, there's a stairway that leads up to a small office. And then to the east, you can see that there is a sitting area with another fireplace. And there's a couple of love seats, some other chairs, fire going very dimly. Seems to have been burning for a while.
After Astaroth checks all of the rooms, he makes his way back down to the kitchen and opens the pantry and the refrigerator and all that. So I'm trying to think of if they have refrigerators. So
refrigerator.
It's a really old style where the lever to turn the light on.
Okay.
So it takes a second after you open the door before the light turns on.
Yeah.
So it's
so
an
it doesn't.
older
So
model.
it doesn't have the ice maker in the door.
No, not built in.
Okay.
You have to get the cubes.
Bummer.
You have to make them yourself. It actually was called an icebox back then.
As he looks into the refrigerator, he
What?
checks to see if there's any food where they could eat it to gain strength if they happen to be trapped in the house for any period of time. He knows that there's danger. There appears to be danger outside, and so he just wants to make sure if their stay is extended in this house that they have nourishments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're just like peeping the refrigerator and you're just, okay, up in the freezer you got 3 steaks and 2 frozen full potatoes. Maybe they can use them for like a baked potato. Maybe you can have it for like using a potato gun. A frozen potato would be extremely dangerous. Shoot one of those at your neighbors.
Astaroth pulls out a plate of food. It happens to be the cooked meat and some of the starch. He puts
There's
them...
leftover bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken, but it's not covered, and you don't know how long it's been in there.
Okay, so
There you go.
he knows what to do in this situation.
It smells okay.
His dad taught him this one just to make sure. They've had a couple crazy nights and ended up in crazy areas, so they've had to eat stuff that was kind of suspect. So he pulls out the food and places the food onto the counter and does the smell check. Just to be safe, though, he tries to purify the food to make sure it is edible for the people in the other room to eat.
Perfect. While this is all going on, Ballraq, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. We're going to see how high in the sky you get from this good hobbit grass.
I rolled 10 plus 3.
Halfling grass. Excuse me. Copyright. Is that both?
That's some shitty weed, bro.
No, it's not, because before you know it, Ballraq, you're fucking ripped ass, and all the people that you were just smoking with are gone. They're not in the room with you right now.
What?
You can actually see the half-orc still pacing around in the same room you're at, and you can see that girl that was covered in blood is just on her, sitting on the ground with her knees up against her chest, holding herself tight. She's still sitting on the floor, but everybody else is in a separate room.
Oh shit! Where did they go?
Astaroth, you've got all this food and you've made sure that there's no disease and you've cleansed it for these people. You've been really thought forward with this situation. So you bring out this nice platter of charcuterie or, other microwave smoked meats, and you see Ballraq kind of astonished looking around that no other people that you thought were going to be in this room are.
Sorry, man. I got too high again,
Way to fucking go, Ballraq.
and everybody took off, and I don't know where they
You
went.
motherfucker, dude. You got too high and you fucking lost the group. You're like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, man. I swear to God. For one, I plate in hand. I have 2 plates of food in each hand. I walk over to Ballraq, give him a look that he knows that I am not happy that the people left the room without his knowledge, as he's too high on his own product. I throw the plates of food down that kind of slam next to where Ballraq's at, and I walk into the other room to try to locate some of the people.
Which way you headed?
I'm headed towards the stairs.
Going up?
Going up. I'm searching upstairs.
You can see that the door's still open as you approach the stairs, and out pops that thin David Bowie looking half elf, and he says, "Oh hey, yeah, we're trying to secure this building, this cabin, and I think I can channel a ritual, and we're going to keep those things away until sunrise, and hopefully we'll be able to get enough backup, or those things will just go away. I don't think they like to be in the sun. I don't know how undead work. Are they like vampires? Are they like zombies? Either way, I'm gonna get this channel going, channel 9, and we're going to get these undead creeps out of here." And he's like kind of nervously flailing, and he's ready to go into this room.
Astaroth notices the flailing and has the whole time that this sketch dude has been around them, and wonders how much booger sugar this person has ingested, because they seem pretty wired, to say the least.
Pretty excitable.
Just shook up, bro. I'm just shook up. Wouldn't you be? Spooky out there.
So after viewing him and listening to his interjection, Astaroth pushes the man back, gently pushes on his chest, and pushes him through the door he just came through, kind of as a barrier, an initial barrier walking into the room.
Okay, so you're just like kind of like pushing him back security guard style?
Yes. To check out the room, but to have something between him and the entrance.
Okay. Yeah, he's like, yeah, come, I mean, okay. And you poke your head in there, and it's this small office, and there's a window looking down into the back of the house, and you can see that there's books and other things kind of pulled out on the desk. It seems like a lot of research material. You look back in this guy's robes. He seems like he's a very like red type, a sorcerer, a wizard, some sort of magician. You think he's got some goods up there, and you see this whole scene laid out, and he's just kind of like this nervous, quirky, just kind of like on edge dude right now.
Astaroth looks around the room and sees all of the material laid out, and sees how the person with him is dressed, and has noticed him since they've been in the house as someone that is kind of suspicious, with putting pressure on his chest in an authoritative manner. Again, questions him, and this time questions him about the material spread out and what everything means.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you something first, and you can decide if you want to do something about it. He basically looks right at you, and he's like, I'm reading all of these, and I'm trying to figure out. There's a lot of lore about rejecting the undead and keeping them away. And if I channel this spell, if I cast it as a ritual and I concentrate without being interrupted, we could keep these things away until the morning.
So he straight up like tells you that he's working on, been researching a way to like keep these things at bay until morning with magic.
Correct.
Can I catch my dude up real quick?
Yeah, you just like jog over and you're just like kind of doing the Garth to Wayne thing where you're just like, hey.
I definitely needed to grab a couple handfuls of the charcuterie to just kind of like knock the cobwebs out, bring myself back up to speed.
Focus. You guys talking about zombies?
So this dude thinks that he can dispel zombies with magic, and he looks. You said, I mean, now like looking around, there's ample research material, and now all of a sudden, what once looked a bit like shabby robes, perhaps now appear more like a scholarly garb of sorts, and this wienery-looking elf might be a professor of sorts.
If this dude was a Hogwarts student, he'd be a Ravenclaw, and you'd be like, oh, I get that.
He's just kind of like a wienery wizard, then.
Yeah, I guess he's a little wienery, I guess. That's how you want to say it?
I don't know. I'm not an overachiever of magic by any stretch, but I would say I'm inclined to let this guy give it a shot. What does he need from us?
It's like, you just guard that door, and you let me be in here casting this. If anything happens, I mean, it shouldn't, but, I mean, I need to focus on this, and worst case scenario...
Does he know where everybody else went first?
They are spread throughout. We're trying to cover all the windows, any entrance or exit, trying to make sure there's nothing that's going to break in.
Oh, so all these other people are already in on this scheme and are protecting the entrances of the home.
You got real high and forgot what they were talking about, and Astaroth was in totally different room.
I phased out, man.
Ballraq, why'd you bring the weed, bro? You just got everybody all spaced out. Objectives
I always
lost.
bring it, dude. It's a diplomatic move.
Fair enough. You're gaining trust. I appreciate that. I appreciates that.
When you've killed, like I've killed, sometimes you need a little,
peace
a
offering.
little lullaby. It's a little lullaby at night. Quiets the screams enough so I can sleep.
And when you say when you've killed what I've killed, you're talking about when Ballraq was a little kid, and they're like, we have to eat chickens. You have to kill the chicken. And he's like, no, Papa, I don't want to do it. I don't want to.
Murdered so many chickens.
Flashbacks.
Do you know how many chickens a growing Goliath can eat?
As many as a dozen eggs.
It's so many chickens.
Do you hear the chicken scream? Almost like how Clarice hears the silence of the lambs.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, sad stuff. So Astaroth agrees with Ballraq. He thinks that we should let this man at least attempt what he's doing, but watching him with a careful eye. He doesn't want him to be isolated by himself. He suggests to Ballraq that they gather this robed individual, they gather his material, and they gather him and bring him back down into the main room because Astaroth feels that that's the safest. He can see everything around, and it's more of a centralized location.
As opposed to the room that has one entrance and exit.
Exactly.
Wow, you're a hell of a strategist.
We don't want to be barricaded in a room, man.
Are there windows on this second floor?
We don't want
room?
to be trapped. Dude,
right?
There's no fire exit.
There's a window looking out the back of the house.
So we could always bolt out the window if we had to.
You want to be in this little room, you don't know where anybody else is at? I'm looking like a recovery mission.
Well,
I want to get
I thought these other
wrangled
people
back.
are already out at the other entryways to the home, right?
No, they're just all kind of scatterbrained because it's almost like fucking hungry hippos now. We got to go get the white marbles because you got to have all the marbles high.
We got to wrangle these people, or I thought,
Yeah, dude,
I
that's
thought
what I'm
they
trying
were
to
in
do.
on
I'm
the
trying to-
whole plot, Kyle.
Hey, you guys are driving this.
You got them fucking high.
So I assume that these other people are able-bodied enough that they are also aware that this dude needs to be uninterrupted, right? And so that they're guarding doors and windows throughout the home. My guy might have gotten high and browned out for a second, but he's apparently as smart or smarter than Astaroth.
Dude, Astaroth is highly intelligent.
He's highly.
You know, we've got years, but Ballraq better fucking watch it, okay?
So...
So you want to drive everybody to the same room, or are you trying to just keep this man separated and alive for the time being?
This dude's ready to throw down on a spell. Tell him to get to work.
What? Say what?
So you disagree with moving him down to a central location? Is that what you're kind of saying?
I mean, I don't know if he's already set up there and he wants
He's
to
got
do
all
it
his
right there.
books. Just makes
I don't know
sense.
if
I'm just gonna.
I don't know if I fully trust him though.
Keep an eye on
I'm
him.
gonna
then.
post up. I'm gonna post up outside the door in the hall. Keep an eye on things.
Okay.
Astaroth, you keep an eye on him from inside the room there, and let him go to work.
So Astaroth, you're going to be sitting in the room with him, and then Ballraq, you're going to be on like the stairwell.
Just on the other side of the door from wherever Astaroth is at. I don't even know if the door is shut.
If you guys are going to be in the commanding position, I guess it can go either way. Whatever you want to get the door to be as. Hey, and he says before you guys, he's like, I really appreciate you guys coming around. My name is Thad.
Thad.
My name's
name's
Thad.
Thumper.
So he starts channeling the spell. Astaroth, you're just kind of lurking over him like a freaking weird guy. And Ballraq, you're at the stairwell, just kind of hanging out.
Do we notice like any effects of the spell? Like how will we know if he's successful?
Gradually, you've heard some scratching, clawing at windows, but it seems within the last 20 minutes or so that sounds pretty much all stopped. So you look out the window, you can see that there's nothing immediately near the house, but there are lurking eyes. You can see glints and glowing orbs of the retinas in the moonlight. In the woods, creeping towards, and one of them's Michael Jackson. Ah!
And this is Thriller. And so we are. It seems like it's worked in that there's like a force field around the house now, and the undead can't get too close.
Balrog, you see this guy, the half-orc, just kind of pacing around still, and you and he make eye contact, and it gives you like that kind of nod, grunt.
Like hey, or what are you looking at?
Like a hey. He's got like a short sword. He doesn't seem to be like super well equipped, but he looks reasonably fit.
Okay. No, I'm gonna return his nod and try to wrangle him for a quick conversation and ask him what his take on this whole situation is, and if he believes that this magic guy is gonna fix it, or if he's got a better idea.
You and he spark up conversation, and he's like, I don't know, man, this is pretty messed up shenanigans we got going on here. I don't know how I feel about all this. This is nothing like I've ever seen down on the docks where I used to be a fisherman. I used to be a fisherman, longshoreman they used to call us because of the size of our penis. But we used to fish down on the docks.
The drugs are taking hold.
We just throw our penises right into the water.
Cast
With
away.
A little piece of bubble
Cast
gum right
away.
on the end. You know, we'd wait for a nibble. Reel her in.
I feel like he didn't say that. Did he actually say that?
Yeah, he did say it.
He rambled for a bit. He seems like a dullard.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So he's a little bit dim. Does it look like he's carrying a little short sword, you said?
Yeah.
Does it look like the short sword has seen use? Can this guy, like, he might be a dullard, but does he look like he'd be able to carry himself in a combat situation?
Go ahead and investigate. Or if you're looking at him like as his physique and his body, go ahead and roll for insight.
Let's see here. Where's this? What is insight? Insight. Wisdom. Cool. I rolled a 6 minus 1.
I mean, everything this guy says seems like he's pretty cool, and you can totally tell that he's your pal after that smoke sesh you had earlier.
All right.
You're like, oh yeah, your name's Axel. You're fucking.
This dude's
I remember
sweet.
this guy.
Astaroth, you met this guy yet? He fucking slaps. He likes to get high too, man. And he's got a huge penis, according to him.
He didn't show me or anything, but
Yeah.
They call me a Mario brother because I lay pipe so much.
Damn it. Stupid fucking Goliath.
you picked him.
I can't unknow things, Kyle. I can't unknow things, so I might have not gained any information there, but I certainly didn't lose the shit I've learned thus far. I just browned out for a second.
You and that good weed.
Alright, so Ballraq gained no knowledge from this dip.
Yeah, he seems like a cool dude.
Seems like he's not a threat, at least. Yeah, well, I don't know, man. I'm just hanging out down here, you know?
Yeah, you see the girl kind of like shaking back and forth, and you guys are just hanging out. You hear from the east side of the house just a scream, just blood curdling from the other side.
Oh, boy. Forgot what was over there.
Because it goes blitz. It's a ballroom blitz.
Ballroom blitz.
Yeah, I suppose.
Ballroom blitz.
Astaroth,
Yes, sir.
how's it coming up there with the what do you want to do here?
Well, since I'm kind of guarding this guy and making sure he's not doing anything too funny, you know.
He is rubbing his nipples while he's casting this, and it's making the room really weird, but he's not doing anything wrong.
Okay. So Astaroth kind of wants to investigate more. He doesn't know how much magic is actually helping, you know, their situation. So he kind of wants to start to question this guy of where he learned these spells and this magic that is, quote unquote, keeping them safe. He starts to interrogate them, or him.
He gives you like a really annoyed look, and he's like, "Do you not understand what focusing is?" And he like does like the Undertaker thing where his eyes roll up into the back of his head, and he's like, I'm focusing, concentration.
So the guy is Randy. So that sounded exactly like Randy. So this guy's Randy, is what you're saying.
Just got to edge all night long. He's edging for the entire night.
Astaroth feels like it's getting a little weird, you know, his conjuring and of that. So he wants to be outside of the bubble to where any projectiles could hit him, or any sticky ectoplasmic residue. Yeah, he's feeling weird about.
Yeah, he's just outside of the dead-eye cum shot zone.
Guy. He feels at this point he's not really a threat to him. He hasn't seen any quick movement from him or anything that would suggest that he's gonna do harm to them. So he gathers himself and steps out of the room to kind of investigate the sound with Ballraq. You know, they make eye contact and see who wants to go investigate the sound to the east.
Yeah, say we both jog over there.
You make a jaunty hop as you go towards the other side of the house, and you see in the sitting room the family with the husband backing away and just screaming. He's like, "No, God damn it, no! Oh God, no!" As the little boy has now sunk his teeth and claws into the mother, pulling her down to the ground and start just tearing her flesh, digging in with these jagged, stale-looking nails and viscera just bleeding out into this wood floor.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking A, dude. You just blew my buzz up.
I'm gonna leap across the room and ram my short sword directly into the top of the skull of the little boy.
Oh, fuck, bro.